Hey, what's up YouTube? Big Mike here. So, the past couple days I noticed the Jeep's been overheating at idle. Now, most people when they hear vehicles overheating automatically say thermostat, then they say water pump, and they want to go to radiator. I said, you know, it's like everybody's programmed into being a parts changer instead of actually being a mechanic. Now, I don't claim to be a mechanic at all means. I'm a backyard mechanic, never been professionally trained. But I'm going to show you a quick way of going through and you can check these things out. Now, the Jeep has a mechanical fan, not an electric fan. So, with the signs that I've been getting, I'm under the suspicion that it's my clutch fan, not a thermostat or anything. So, I'll get the Jeep started up, I'll run you through and show you how to check. Alright guys, here's a radiator hose. Now, you go like this, you squeeze the hose, you can actually feel the radiator fluid going through the hose. You'll know your thermostat's opening up and you'll know that's working fine. Now if you look down here, this clutch fan here doesn't seem right. Now watch this, I don't recommend everybody try this. Bam! I can stop the clutch fan with my bare hand. Now what it is got a little thermostat in the fan. And what it does is when the truck gets to a certain temperature, that clutch drives in so the fan spins with the full force of the engine. And when it doesn't need so much fan, it backs off the clutch and just lets the fan run free air. Puts a little less stress on the engine, they say. I think it's just another part I gotta change when they break down. But I mean, you can do this with a stick or take a nice bundled up rag or a leather glove. Don't do it if the fan seems to be spinning ungodly fast. I mean, you can kind of tell that this thing isn't spinning up to speed. That's really not hitting my hand too hard. I wouldn't recommend sticking your hand in a fan that seems to be spinning out of control. Like I said, you can use like a stick or something, a piece of rubber. And of course, you always put your hand fanned out or whatever it is, so it goes with the direction of the fan, not like this and jamming in there. So I'll have to go to the store and get me a clutch fan, but that's the way to tell them. Alright guys. Alright guys, there's the 4 nuts I got to take off to get this clutch fan off. And what I did while the camera was off, I went ahead and broke them all loose. Now, they do sell a tool for holding it, but if you take a screwdriver and just go in between the nut and the shaft there, and you just hold these things like this, you can then commence with breaking them loose. Now, they do sell a tool for doing this, but I mean, if you're not doing this for a living, you're not going to be doing this all the time. Screwdriver works just as great. Just leave the nuts on so you're not prying against the threads of the stud. Very important, you don't want to mess them up. So, regular screwdriver, put it in there with your other hand, use the wrench on another nut to get that thing loose. And I'm going to try to finagle this out without taking the shroud off, and then I'll get it up on the bench and show you guys what's going on. Alright guys, now here's the clutch fan. And a couple of things making me suspicious here from before is I see this like kind of putty here. I'm wondering if somebody tried to silicone this coil here back in place, and this coil kind of acts like a thermostat, engaging and disengaging the clutch. So this leads me to believe that somebody had tried to maybe self-fix this thing before instead of just replacing the part. So I can't imagine why. Part was only about $30, $25–$30. But when these things go, what it is this has a clutch in it. I'll show you on a newer one here. Inside there's a clutch. What happens is this goes, it turns, engages this clutch, and this engages your fan to spin. Now when it's not up to temperature, this spins freely against the unit. When that clutch kicks in, it locks in, and this whole unit will spin. And when these go bad, it's just usually the part that's going wrong, something in here, the internals with the clutch. You still have to replace every so often. Now if you have an electric fan, a little easier. Just wait to see if the thing turns on or not. You do have to let the vehicle warm up first. If it's not warm, these aren't going to be engaged. It makes it a little harder to test. So I was pretty confident this is my bad part. You've seen how I tested it. Again, you could put a piece of wood in there or whatever. There's sometimes you can just look at it and tell that thing's not spinning the way it should be. I've done enough of these in my life where I can pretty much look at it and tell, and that's how I knew I could safely stop that blade, because I could tell that thing wasn't spinning like it should be. So what I'll do is I'll get the fan blades off, bolt them up here, and then we'll go and install this thing back in. Alright guys, now when I bought the new clutch fan, it came with these new lock washers. Now I wouldn't be able to use these on my applications. The studs coming off the pulley aren't long enough to allow these and the nuts to have enough thread on them. Plus my original nuts already have this little lock washer built in with the teeth on here. You know, and they're still in decent shape. But if these weren't, I would have to go and buy this kind to replace it. These really wouldn't be good in my application. They're too thick. But it's not saying that the manufacturer sent the wrong thing out with the part. These parts are universal, probably used in a lot of different cars and vehicles, so this might be used in a different application. Now, you don't throw these away though. That's why I have those little bins on my bench full of random hardware and stuff that I get. Save these. I could use these on something else later on down the line. That's less money I gotta spend for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this fan put on. Alright guys, so I got the fan off, and you see mine is conveniently still marked with front. When you're taking your fans off, please pay attention to the direction, because if I put this on backwards, those blades are not going to be pushing the air the way they should be. And these just slip over the top, go down in there, re-bolt them in right in these spots, and then I'll be able to reinstall this on the pulley. Alright, one more thing guys, before I go ahead and reinstall my clutch fan and assembly, I'm going to be changing the belt out. Now, there's nothing physically wrong with the original belt. However, I'm not the original owner of this vehicle. I bought it used. 126,000 miles on it. I don't know when the last time this thing's been changed. So while I had the fan off, it'll be easier to throw a new one on. It was only $28. Now, if you can afford to, it's nice when you're doing something like this, change the belt. Now, this old one, I won't throw it away. What I'll do is I'll package this back up. I'll keep it like in my glove box or something. Then if, for whatever reason, the belt ever snaps in the future, I have a backup. It ain't going to stop me on the road. I can be able to pop a new one on. I'll show you on the Jeep. Usually around the fan shroud there should be a way of routing your belt. Now I do have the AC compressor, and that was something important I had to tell them at this parts store, that yes, my car does have air conditioning. And that's that condenser pulley right there. Now if your car doesn't, most cars have it now, but if you don't have the air conditioning option, it's very important you tell them that your car doesn't, or you'll get the wrong length. Another key note is usually there's a separate belt for that. This one doesn't have that. And what happens is this has a clutch in it. You see how this spins real free? Well, the clutch is here. When you turn your AC on or your defroster, engages the clutch. This thing now locks in and it will spin with the engine. Now when these go bad, normally what happens is this pulley locks up and it will snap your belt. Now, if you don't have the money to replace this unit, A lot of the times you can buy the belt that'll bypass this instead of having to replace this. So you can always buy the belt, replaces this one, and then you want to spend the money right away to replace this unit. You can just go ahead and put your bypass on. Alright. Alright guys, here we are. New clutch fan, new belt. I'm good to go for a while. And I'm just going to show you guys something about why you shouldn't stick your fingers in that fan unless you have enough experience to know when you can or you can't. You see that one is spinning a lot better. And don't try this at home either, but just to show you how much I like you guys, I'm going to do it for you. Piece of wood. You don't know what you're doing, you're not confident enough, it could be your finger. Alright, be safe. Have a good one, guys.